Good evening and welcome back. If you want clear, fact-based breakdowns of the most important political moments happening right now, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Today's hearing, featuring Kristi Noem, quickly turned into a sharp legal confrontation over one of the most misunderstood issues in American immigration law, asylum.
For 5 minutes.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right. So immigrants then with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that...
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
It's a lawful pathway.
Okay, so if your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with...
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed
I'm asking you.
people to come
I'm
in and
asking you.
granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department
and your secretary
deports
did not
anyone
follow the law
with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was broken under the last...
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway, if you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office right in New York City. Numerous, thousands of people who have come to court appearances, have left them with open asylum applications, have been arrested. And then they've been shipped off and many deported. In September, one applicant was ripped away from his wife and small children after such a court appearance. And then this happened to his wife. Please play the video. No, it's not. It's not this one. All right, it's not this video. Here it is.
I'm yours. Oh, come on, man.
Now, after this incident, your department issued a statement that said the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. 3 days later, you reinstated that officer and you put him back on duty. I sent you a letter and asked you what investigation was done and why was he reinstated. You did not answer that letter. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right here to explain to me that if that officer's conduct was, quote, beneath the men and women of ICE, unquote, why did you reinstate him?
Sir, that investigation was completed. I can give you that investigation and the information that you would like. This is
I wrote you 2 months ago. Why haven't you given it to me yet?
I'm actually surprised that you haven't gotten it. I'm going to ask my staff about that.
Well, you shouldn't be surprised because generally speaking, you do not respond to us.
Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of your letters.
Now, the other problem that we are seeing all over the country is that your officers are wearing masks, are dressed in plain clothes, often going around without identification.
All of our officers are identified.
I'm not asking a question. I introduced the No Secret Police Act to stop this. And we now have 113 co-sponsors so that they will not be masked and that they will identify themselves. Now, you say all of them are identifying themselves. That is not the case because last month in New York City again, the NYPD officers were injured by your masked, plainclothes ICE officers after they were called from 911, by 911, as residents witnessed your officers pulling individuals out of their vehicles and chasing them down the street. I also asked you what happened there. How were the NYPD officers injured by your officers? And you didn't respond. What's the answer?
Sir, our individual officers
Gentleman's time
identified.
Time has expired.
I yield
I
back.
recognize gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gonzalez, 5 minutes.
What sounded like a simple yes or no question exposed a much deeper conflict about how the law is interpreted and whether it is being followed at all. The exchange began with a straightforward question: is asylum a lawful pathway to immigrate to the United States? Secretary Noem acknowledged that an asylum program does exist. That point matters because under U.S. law, asylum is not a loophole or a favor. It is a legal protection written directly into federal statute and international agreements the United States has signed. If you are finding this breakdown helpful so far, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We break down these hearings so you can understand what is actually at stake. The questioning then moved to the heart of the issue. When someone files an asylum application and that application is still pending, are they legally present in the United States? The law is clear. Individuals with active asylum claims are lawfully present while their cases are being adjudicated. They are not undocumented in the legal sense, even if their status is temporary. This is where the tension escalated. The questioner pressed further, asking whether deporting someone with an ongoing asylum application would violate the law. Instead of answering directly, Secretary Noem repeatedly shifted the focus to broader criticisms of past administrations and claims that the asylum system had been abused. That deflection is important to understand. In legal hearings, refusing to answer a narrow question often signals that the truthful answer would be politically inconvenient. The law does not change based on whether a system is strained or misused. If an asylum application is active, deportation before a final decision generally violates due process protections. If you want more clear explanations like this without the political spin, subscribe now so you stay informed. At this point, frustration boiled over. The questioner accused the secretary of filibustering, a tactic where someone talks around a question instead of answering it. The chair eventually reclaimed time, but the damage was already done. The exchange revealed a critical issue. There is a growing gap between what the law says and how enforcement officials talk about it in public. Here is the key takeaway for viewers. Asylum is not automatic citizenship, and it is not guaranteed approval. It is a legal process. While that process is underway, the applicant has legal standing in the country. Deporting someone mid-process is not a policy disagreement. It is a legal violation unless very specific exceptions apply. This matters because immigration debates are often framed as chaos versus control, when in reality, the real question is whether the government is following its own laws. Oversight hearings like this exist precisely to force officials to answer that question on the record. If you appreciate reporting that cuts through the noise and explains what the law actually says, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We will continue to follow these hearings closely and break down what they mean for real people, not just politics. Stay with us.